I see my name in shining lights. Yeah, a different city every night. Oh, I swear the world better prepare for when I'm a billionaire.
It's time to get down to business on the weekend's #1 business program. Known as the King of Networking, your host, Shalom Klein, has worked with thousands of entrepreneurs and created countless jobs. So, to success. Let's get down to business.
And indeed, we're all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship and business. We talk a lot about business here. You're on with Get Down to Business, and I'm your host, Shalom Klein. Remember, you can always download podcasts from my website, syklein.com. While you're there, don't forget to follow me on Twitter, at Shalom Klein. So I've got a treat in store for you. I'm thrilled to be joined by workplace legal expert Peter Rahbar, who has worked for decades in in helping clients through the most important decisions of their professional lives. After almost 20 years of representing major international corporate clients in high-profile matters, specifically in employment law, Peter founded the Rahbar Group, a boutique employment law practice based in New York City, specializing in representing individuals including C-suite executives, media personalities, and other professionals working in finance, media, sports, real estate, fashion, and tech. Peter Rahbar, welcome to the program.
Thanks. Great to be here. Thanks for that great introduction.
Absolutely. A pleasure to have you. So I always like to start in the very, very beginning. Peter, when you initially got into law, did you imagine that you'd be heading off on your own and working with some pretty high-profile individuals?
No, it was never in the cards for me to start my own practice, to be honest. When I went to law school and graduated, I wanted to be a sports lawyer. So I did want to work on high-profile matters, but on behalf of leagues and teams, and I did that for a while at a big law firm. But ultimately, here I am doing it in a very different capacity, and it's been a wonderful road, and I love what I am doing now, so I'm really happy with the decision.
Absolutely. So in a nutshell, tell us what your area of expertise is and how you've sort of developed that niche.
Sure. My expertise is employment law. It's all I do, and I work on all aspects of employment law, every aspect of work of a workplace decision. I represent mostly executives now and individuals. But I started my career working on behalf of companies, first at a major law firm and then at a major media company. And as time went on and as my network grew, I realized there was a real need. Individuals were having a really hard time, getting good workplace advice and good employment advice. And so instead of sending out cases to friends who were doing that work, I decided to start my own practice and do it.
Fantastic. So it's you are touching on something really, really interesting that I know all of our listeners are curious about: employment law, and whether you are a major media figure like some of your clients that you work with, Peter, or somebody local and working in a company or certainly owning a small business. There's a lot that folks need to know. So what are some of the common threads and common themes that you hear from your clients and beyond?
Well, it is really important for people to have access to good advice when making workplace decisions, because I think a lot of people don't. They rely on family members and friends who may or may not know everything about what they're facing at work. And so, the issues I work on with people, predominantly are related to negotiating their contracts, their employment agreements, offer letters, non-compete agreements, severance agreements. The basic thread is you should never sign a legal document without understanding what it says. And if you're not a lawyer or you don't understand what it says, you should have someone explain it to you, and you should hire someone to work on it with you. Another common thread is people are generally reluctant to negotiate job offers, and and they're willing to accept what employers put in front of them because they're afraid they're going to lose the offer. And while some people may not have the leverage to accept to negotiate, a lot do, and they don't realize it. So I love helping people discover that they have this power and they have this leverage at the moment when they're on the verge of accepting a new job and helping them better the terms of that new position. So I don't think people always realize the value before they meet me, and they certainly do. I think the practice has been going on for a few years now. So I think after working together, I think we quickly realize the value of what a lawyer can add to a particular work-related situation.
No question about it. Again, I'm chatting with attorney Peter Rahbar, who, as you've been hearing, we've been talking about common threads and common themes in employment law. And Peter, I want to spend the next few minutes talking about, call it current events. So we can talk about some high-profile cases that are out there. I know that you are frequently in the media sharing your feedback. But let's talk about something that everybody is hearing more and more about, and that is Chat GPT and AI and so on. What does that connect with employment law? And again, whether you're an employee or an employer, what do folks need to know so they're staying on the right side of the issue?
This is my favorite topic. I've been talking about it so much lately, and every day the things we could talk about grow. But I'll give you the headlines. If you're an employer, certainly you're going to want to find ways to introduce generative AI tools into your business. The question is, what are the right ways, and what are the right ways to do it? So if you're an employer, particularly smaller employers, you have to pay attention to laws that are being passed that regulate the use of these tools, and you have to pay attention to legal rights and obligations that you have, whether it's the IP that comes out of these platforms and in the finished products, whether it's your own IP that employees are putting in to get the output, whether it's confidential information, et cetera. So I would say it's very important for employers to have a policy regulating use and how it's going to be used in your workplace. For employees, I would say don't be afraid of AI. There's a lot of stories out there about AI taking everyone's jobs and replacing all the humans, et cetera. Don't worry about that. Just put that to the side. What you should be focused on as a worker is mastering AI tools. All of these tools need humans to enable them, to put data into them, to put prompts into them, et cetera. Become an expert. Become someone who is of value to an employer. If you're in college, you have no excuse not to master these tools. Put it on your resume, put it on your LinkedIn. This is a key skill that employers are looking for right now. So make sure that you are becoming a master, not someone who's afraid of losing their job.
Yeah, no question about it. Again, AI is around. It's here to stay. And absolutely agreed. Many of our listeners know that, I'm an Army reservist, and many military organizations are bringing in experts in AI and embracing it. And it's not replacing people. It's just enhancing what we can do. So again, embrace it, whether you're an employer, employee, embrace it for sure. It's comical. I did see a story about an attorney the other week that wrote his entire case law that was submitted, and he used AI.
That wasn't good.
That was not good. Common sense does need to prevail, especially if you're in that profession. But Peter, we know that you are guiding folks on how to use it correctly. The last piece of current events that I want to jump to for a moment, and I know, again, you've been in the news talking about Tucker Carlson. Very high-profile situation between him and Fox News. Who do you think is going to have the upper hand in that little employment law legal battle that's going on?
It's a really interesting battle. It's gone quiet for the last few weeks, so I have some suspicions about what that may mean. But if this case ever ends up in court, Fox would definitely have the upper hand. Media personalities have very unique contracts for their services because they are high-profile public figures that companies like Fox spend millions of dollars promoting and developing. They can't just have their talent walk out at any time they choose to. Here Fox chose to part ways with Tucker, but importantly, they didn't fire him. They're still paying him. So he's still under contract to them through the end of next year. So, Fox's argument is we would be if they end up in court, but I'm sure it is in their negotiations going on behind the scenes, is we have you under contract until next year. And in New York, courts are very familiar with these contracts and would uphold that. But we haven't seen a court battle yet. We may be there soon. I assume they're at the final stages of a negotiated settlement, though.
Usually when things are quiet, that's usually
Yes.
a good indicator. But no, you would certainly know. Again, I've been chatting with attorney Peter Rahbar, an expert in all of these matters and more. We appreciate the insight you've provided, and certainly want to encourage our listeners to get in touch with you and your firm to follow your work and continue to get your insight. How can we do that?
Well, you could reach me a couple ways. I'm available on my website, which is therahbargroup.com. I also am very active on LinkedIn, so you could find all my information there.
Fantastic. Peter Rahbar, I really appreciate you joining us, therahbargroup.com. And of course, very active, as you said, on LinkedIn. We'll link in the show notes as well. Peter, thanks for joining us, and come back again soon.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Quick break. We'll be back with lots more small business jobs and entrepreneurship when we return. Don't touch that dial.